Hi, Mark here from the Tangent-Bound Podcast Network and host of the flagship show, the Tangent-Bound Podcast. Did you know that we over at Tangent-Bound are always looking for amazing podcasts to promote? And did you also know that we are also proud nerds and geeks of everything from movies, music, gaming, TV shows, and comic books to wrestling, MMA, soccer, and football? Whatever you can nerd or geek out about, we've got it. And if you're interested, we can help you find it. And if you're a show looking for a place to call home, we've got you covered. Side effects may include upset stomach, dizziness, tumors, shakes, and in some rare cases, death from excessive laughter. Though to be fair, it's only sometimes. Other side effects may include diarrhea, gallstones, heart palpitations, and strong desire for cookies on the dark side. Talk to your doctor and visit TangentBoundNetwork.com and see if Tangent-Bound Network is right for you.
This is a Danger Entertainment podcast. DangerEntertainment.net. Danger Entertainment Podcast Network.
Hi everyone, this is Hanno.
And this is Stephanie.
And we're from the Gotham Lights podcast and
the Orville Lights podcast.
The Gotham Lights podcast is a fan cast dedicated to the television show Gotham.
And sometimes the television show The Orville. And if either of these things tickle your fancy, then by all means, reach out to us on Twitter at Gotham Lights, on Facebook by searching Gotham Lights, and also by means of email, gothamlightspodcast@gmail.com.
Welcome to the podcast from Temperance Town, the sexiest podcast of world renowned. Tony grows a beard to hide his chin, swaps it with Earl so it glistens.
Salty, salty language, kings of the sexy frontier.
Download the pod, you won't get enough of these dapper chaps talking deadly fluff. In Hobo Gulch they run a homeless mission, clanging and banging with a pentagram of kittens.
Salty, salty language, kings of the sexy frontier.
They enjoy their whiskey and local craft beer. By Odin's unkempt pubis we give a cheer. Tony's a raccoon when he's booziest. Don't be a savage, be an enthusiast.
Salty, salty language, kings of the sexy frontier.
On the frozen tundra they call it a lock. Tony likes to masturbate in a sock. Brian pisses rocks cause it feels so great. I still don't know who the fuck is Tate.
Salty, salty language, kings of the sexy frontier.
The boys will let you know when there's a due to male pattern baldness, they don't wear curlers. Stay salty, people, that's their closing line. And don't forget, have a beer, you'll be fine.
Salty, salty language, kings of the sexy frontier. Salty, salty language, kings of the sexy frontier. Salty
Hey enthusiasts, what's happening? This is Salty Language, episode 399.
Won't you say my name? Won't you say my name?
yeah, you know who we are.
Won't you say my name?
Yeah, you know who we are.
My name.
Yeah, you know.
For anyone who hasn't recognized, no Tony this week. Instead, our pal Henno's sitting in, and obviously, you know,
competent board work.
Right, competent board work. Just setting the mood.
Oh my God, I stumbled on that and I'm like,
I
you
love
gotta be kidding me.
That was great. I like the effect on your voice too. That was really good with that. Yeah. That's why I was like, I'm just laying back, see where this goes. I was lighting some candles, spreading the rose petals around.
I just stumbled upon it's like an hour of music to fuck to. It's literally they would have said that if they could on YouTube.
Man.
But it's like sexy music to make love to. Did you say my name? Yeah. Oh yeah.
I so want and I'm sure it's out there, but it's like I want to find like some royalty free music like that we could just use as bed music for the whole episode,
I just kept imagining like if you heard that in the background while you're getting busy, if you just actually answer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Who you talking to?
Like, who are you talking to, man?
No.
Oh man.
Yeah. Wow.
I needed a good laugh. It's been a
well done.
fucking shit week.
Awesome. That's what we like to hear. Wait.
Yeah.
Man. So, first off, thanks for, bringing your competent board work to the show. Tony's still fighting the, Tonyco AIDS apparently. So
exactly.
Or I'm going to go ahead and out him, or he's playing hooky because he was all, I'm too sick to do the show. And then he's posting on Instagram today that he's out having beers and nachos. So whatever.
I may have seen that.
I did comment though, cause he said something about, that maybe he needs a beer or something like that. And I'm like, have a beer, you'll be fine. So,
yeah, exactly. Is there, okay.
How many times have I said it now? What episode are we on? 399? Yeah.
$3.99, dude.
No. That's the wrong number. We're a long ways from that one.
Oh, shit.
Hell, by the time we hit that one, Bill and Ted's 3 might be out.
It will be.
So, just really, are you excited for that at all?
No.
I'm not at all either. Like, when I saw the picture of the two of them, I was like, no, let's just leave it alone. Like,
just old guys.
Yeah. It's like, unless they're doing it to where, like, their kids, like, are we, like, passing the torch kind of a thing? Because otherwise, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't.
But, it might actually be kind of amusing just from the standpoint of that it's old Bill and Ted doing Bill and Ted.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. I don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll probably end up watching it, but, I don't know. A lot of times when you stay away from a property that long, just trying to recapture the magic. And I mean, then let's not forget Bill and Ted, Bill and Ted 2 was not great. So, yeah, it had its moments, but it was not great. So.
Yeah, well.
Or Bogus Journey, whatever it was called.
I actually laughed harder in that one than I did the first one.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, fair enough.
Just because of the whole Grim Reaper was just goddamn funny.
Yeah, that's true. That was funny.
I mean, them playing the board game, and I mean,
yeah. All right.
I think I went and saw that with Neil, and I think I was like literally, when you just slide out of the chair and you're on the floor and you can't fucking breathe.
Yeah, yeah.
It was one of those moments for sure.
The weird part to me about them announcing this week that it's official and all this, it's like, didn't they do that like last year? Like, I feel like this was already announced and...
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Why, you saw something recently saying...
Yeah. Like, it was like last week that was like, there was like, I think it was like a video that was of, Alex Winters and Keanu Reeves,
Yeah, I did see. I think they're just doing some promo stuff.
Oh, you know what? That's probably, you're probably right. That's probably what it is where it was just generically announced. This is them making the announcement. I'll bet that's the, okay. That makes sense.
I think so.
Okay. Cause I was going to say, I thought it was like a year ago that they did this. And although in fairness, how many properties have we heard that are coming out and like a year later we're like, wasn't that supposed to come out? And,
yeah, exactly.
And then the rights revert to somebody. It ends up, Lock and Key is a perfect example. The comic property that couldn't, had a home, then didn't have a home, then was just tied up for a while. Then it reverted back to the people. Now I think Netflix is committed to it. So, at least with Netflix, I feel like we're going to get something because they don't seem to really back out of stuff a lot, so. Especially after the Umbrella Academy did as well as it did too for them,
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they go after some more comic properties like that. Which is cool with me.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Lock and Key was good. So I can't wait to see what gets done with it. Oh man. So how you said your week was shitty, so
yeah.
So I won't say how's your week, but so what happened?
I mean, just between the dog got an infection in his fucking surgery leg, and I'm literally up all night holding a freaking ice pack on his leg so he can sleep and I can be awake at 2. Right. Like, what the hell am I doing? Yeah. But it was like, he was burning up. It was burning up bad and he was fidgeting and it sucked because he was just doing so well on Sunday and then but anyhow, that night, see, we podcasted The Crazy Life. Yes, we did. Mm-hmm. And that's right. Sharon, just before we started podcasting, Sharon walks out the door. She's like, "Oh, he's doing fine."
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm like, right. And then we were, we like usual shot the shit till late. Mm-hmm. And after we got off, I'm like, "Oh, I better go check on him." And I go in there and I put my hand on his leg and I'm like, he ain't doing fine.
Wow.
Like it was fucking hot. Like I was like, holy shit, this is a bad infection. And so I brought him into my room and he's just at it. And finally I'm like, you know what? Why not just try an ice pack? It's hot. It's got to be just irritating. So I put an ice pack on and all of a sudden it calmed down.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I waited for a while and I'm just sitting there and, at this point, when you're up and that's it, you're up. And so I grabbed another ice pack. I put it on him. I got TV on the background, except I'm not facing the TV, which I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like facing a wall. And then at some point he starts doing the little like doggy kick thing. I'm like, oh, he's asleep. I'm not. What the fuck?
Yep.
So I finally I wedged it in between because my real concern was I didn't want to like when ice pack can burn you too, just because it's too cold. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of I put his butt up against me and I just kind of wedged the ice pack. So it was kind of on me and kind of on him. Okay. So I could feel it. And anyhow, I eventually drifted off to sleep and, woke up at some point. But it's just so funny. But yeah, got him into the vet. They got him some more antibiotics and he's just freaking miserable. And, wasn't a whole lot of sleep the rest of that, just the whole week was like that.
Yeah.
Just not getting a lot of sleep. And then Friday, I woke up at like 5 in the morning, 5:30, 6, it's like my typical wake up time. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm going back to bed, I rolled back over, got a full 8 hours. Awesome. Feeling good. Get up, having a nice lazy day. Like, I've been avoiding going to the post office pretty much all month. I have a P.O. box for anything that I do that's business related ends up being through the P.O. box. So I got out of the P.O. box and sure enough, there's a letter from the IRS I've been waiting for and my appeal got turned down. Here, have another $1,600 out of your pocket.
Yay!
Yay! On top of the 6 I've already spent on my dog and the other at least $1,500 that's going to the IRS in April. And I was just like,
yeah, that's a firm kick in the dick for sure.
It just was. Yeah. And I'm not even counting Jamaica anymore because it's like,
yeah.
Like, what's with the clicking? It's okay. We're just having fun. Why is there clicking in the background?
Oh man.
Yeah. So, because first I was like, oh, it's going to be a lot of money out this year. But I mean, can you really count like the vacation? I mean, you're kind of being a dick. So
Yeah.
now I'm.
You could count
Now
it,
I'm
but
just-
you're just like, it's like, yeah, but that's something you're going to enjoy. So at least there's
Yeah.
that,
Exactly.
The other
That's-
stuff,
that-
not so much enjoying the,
No.
dog
Yeah.
surgery and, IRS going, guess what?
Multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, none of it I get anything out of.
Yeah.
But I do get to, and so I was like, I was just, and I was supposed to go to Idaho Falls, and I'm just like, I'm not going to Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm getting back into selling more stuff. Just like,
Right.
But I did go down to Sharon came with me. I went down to get some new glasses. And as soon as I started putting them on, I'm like, Sharon's got to be here. I cannot, buy glasses and then have her go, why'd you buy those?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really dumb. So luckily she got off, I was out of work early and went down there and picked out some new glasses. And for once, I decided to get a pair that wasn't the most expensive one there.
Right.
When you're like, yeah, I love these. How much are they? $370.
Oh, dude, seriously.
Really?
Yeah. Ugh. That's the way it was. Not this pair. The ones I had before were like that. But, I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll get those. And then the woman's like, well, we're running a special that, they're like, buy one, get one. And I'm like, oh, all right. Like now it's not so bad. Cause in my head, they go from 300. Now they're 150 a pair.
Yeah.
That's livable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though, no.
So I ended up with something that was like 160, which is great. My insurance covers 120 of it. I was like,
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think that's about what mine covers. So that's why I
to
got
get out
these.
of there for a couple $100 is amazing, And what was really cool is like I would have used my insurance on the contacts, but there was a woman there that was like, oh, what's your, which insurance plan you have? This, oh, save it for your glasses. You get more value out of the glasses. And I'm like, this is why I shop with you guys,
Right?
because they're expensive. But I'm like, and they do a 1-year guarantee. It doesn't matter what happened. When Jax was a puppy, he ate my glasses.
Ooh, nice.
And I walked in there like thinking, all right, I'm going to have to buy new everything. And they're like, oh no, you got 1 month left on your warranty. We'll replace them.
Nice.
I'm like, the whole thing? They're like, yeah. I'm like, yes. So loyalty.
Yeah, I think the place I went has a very similar thing that, they'll replace it. And, like a lot of the places, you can go in anytime and get an adjustment if you need to or whatever. But,
Yeah.
And then of course it's, do you want to extend, get more than that? And I'm like, no, I was like, I'm really good with my glasses. I rarely ever do anything that puts them in harm's way. So, usually I'm like, the insurance generally to me just feels like a waste of money. So
Yeah.
I
that's
understand
where
it
I'm
for
at now,
some
too.
people. Some people I get it. Like if you work somewhere where, maybe they get scratched or dinged or whatever all the time. Hey, whatever, or maybe go get some work glasses instead. But yeah.
Did I talk on the show about how they said I shouldn't be driving?
You told me. I don't know if you said it on the show or not.
The show, okay. It just makes me laugh. I'm just like, here, cover your eye. What? Which line can you read? Well, I'm like, next block.
Yeah.
like, all right. How about on this one? Nope. Just like you
Man.
probably shouldn't be driving. Well, let's try the other eye. Nope. Next block.
It's so bad.
So bad.
So bad.
So when I got my new contacts, I got those, whatever it was a week ago, and I put those in. I'm like, wow. But now the funny part is now I'm having an even harder time like reading books and stuff when I'm, reading anything up close. Cause, like I was kind of like not quite corrected. So I was not quite, as messed up trying to read stuff. And now that I'm fully corrected, I'm back to 2020.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Jesus. So.
It is funny, like a new pair of glasses and then you try to read or whatever afterwards. It's funny how much of an adjustment there can be. And it's not even like, I'm not even talking like a big switch in your, prescription. It's just even like a little tweak sometimes. Like for me with my, like I told you, with my left eye, everything's kind of, got like a screen over it and it's kind of fuzzy. And when I get a new pair of glasses, it usually tightens that up it's like using the sharpen thing in Photoshop. It doesn't make it perfect. It just is a little bit, tightens the edges up a little bit. And, but it does make it a little easier for me to read, because otherwise my left eye wants to kind of blur the letters a little bit. So it's much easier for me to read afterwards, but there's usually an adjustment. It usually takes me a week or so to really, even on computers and stuff too, it's the same way. Like the letters kind of run together on me. So usually what I do is after I get a new pair of glasses, I increase the size of the font on my computer for like a week and then go back down.
Yeah.
Also because I'm getting old. So, got to use that big type.
Yeah, exactly. Go with the big icons.
Yeah. That's why the Salty Language logo is just big letters.
Yeah. That's great.
It's so Tony and I can read it.
So funny. So yeah, in the end, and I'll talk about this on the Crazy Life this week, a little bit more, just because. But it was seriously like, well, in 2 years, I won't even remember it happened. So act as if, like. When you think about all those things that you've had at some point, a setback that where you got nailed for a bunch of money, and you can get just angry about it, and in a couple of years later you don't even think about it anymore. It just goes away, and I'm like, just accept it now and think about it in those terms. It's like, what's another $1,600?
It's just money, it's just money.
And I want to be like mad at somebody, but the fact of the matter is, it's my goddamn fault.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I was just bitter yesterday. Just bitter. Just salty and bitter. And, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So, I went and worked out. That's what I did.
Right. There you go.
On a Friday night, I went to the gym at like 7. I walk in and the general manager, he was in there, and he just gave me the single eyebrow raise. Like, what are you doing in here? I'm like, I got to blow off some steam.
Yeah. Well, that's a good move though, because if, for those who haven't listened to The Crazy Life, you've told some stories where maybe you've not reacted as well when you've been kind of salty and in that kind of mood, So, at least this seems constructive.
It felt good.
I was going to say, unless you push yourself too far, then it can be destructive.
Yeah. No. So, it was fun to let that out. But, I did have one, man, on Wednesday night, I finally got to do the, our Liner Notes podcast.
Oh, right.
And talking about sex. So I literally overshared about my entire sex life on a 3-hour podcast. I am never going to get elected to city council.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's funny.
Like I basically just cemented my, when they say, "Are you going to run?" No.
Yeah. Well, why not? You just send him the file.
That's a great idea. I should be like, "Hey, tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Let me forward this to you."
Right. If you don't think this will matter, then sure, but
yeah.
I feel like where you are, I feel like that would kind of matter. So maybe I'm wrong, but so you find out the area you live in is incredibly more open than you thought.
Yeah. Everyone's coming out of the woodwork. Yeah, going, oh my God, finally I can be me.
You gave me the strength to do it, Henno.
Yeah, I can finally admit that I do stick my feet into some rubber galoshes and then mount a sheep. Yeah, that wasn't where I was going with this.
Like, yeah, that same person's like, I started this hashtag, it's Henno Strong.
Instead of I'm trying to come up with some way of combining mutton and Messiah, but I don't think it's going to work.
Oh no, that isn't what I wanted at all. Oh man.
Well, Idaho.
Yeah. Who knows? You just use that as the launching pad so that you can find an area to where they'll look at you like Toronto looked at Rob Ford. And just become very beloved, even though other people might go. I don't know about this guy.
Disqualified.
Just
Right.
let me give you a hint.
Yeah.
At full volume.
Yep.
It was a part of me that did it on purpose.
I mean, why not? That's
it's
what.
so much. Honestly, but that's the whole thing. I would rather live I'd rather be me 100% honestly to anybody that I come in contact with in my life than have this thing that somebody might want to make a deal out of.
Yeah, exactly.
I have the reason I have my relationship and everything the way my life is today is specifically to not do that stuff anymore because
Right.
I couldn't stand it.
Yep.
I couldn't handle it. It's like it's such a relief to just go through life knowing that, if somebody comes up to you and says, I heard blah, 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 I'd be like, yep.
And?
So? And?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's, that's the goal to get to that point rather than to be, like you said, I mean, I've got people I know that as soon as their kids got into school and stuff, they became different people and they were like, if anything was ever said about how they used to get rip-roaring drunk or whatever, just as in our 20s or whatever, as you do, that they immediately like try to silence it and push it aside. And it's like, really? It's like, you did it. It happened. Like, just, I don't understand. Yeah, just own it. You did it, Yeah. Everybody's done dumb stuff. Well, a lot of people have done dumb stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so many people look back and go, oh man, I was a real party animal back in my day, Most people are not going to be even remotely offended by that. Now, if you're, 42 and you're still doing it, yeah, they may look at you a little differently then, but if you did it like back in your 20s, most people aren't going to judge you,
Dude, we have a whole valley of people that do that shit still in their 40s and 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I imagine.
It's just absolutely amazing. I was like, wow, you're still going that hard? Like, holy fuck.
No way. Yeah. When I see that is, Tony's talked on here about, like the guys he went to Key West with, they're all,
oh,
old,
yeah.
all of them
Yeah.
are older than him and they're like morning till night go and just hammering drinks. And he's like halfway through the day going, dude, like I can't keep up with this. And it's like, God, it's like, it's impressive from the standpoint of they had to build themselves to that point to where they could just all day. It's not impressive from the like, realistic side of it to where it's like, how are you still alive?
Well, they're doing the cocaine here too, which is just, like it just amazes me. I'm just like, you know how many people have heart attacks at your age?
Yeah,
because of that? Like, wow.
Seriously.
Like, it's amazing. Like, anytime I hear, like, there's like these busts that go around every once in a while, and I'm just like, wow, I mean, I know about it, but I'm not hanging out there at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, hitting up the after party or whatever. It's like, wow. You're what, 57? Oh,
yeah. How are you doing that?
Here, let me give you a revolver.
Yeah.
Let me stick one bullet in there.
Yeah.
Spin that baby.
I mean, you're already doing it anyway. Yeah. Yep.
Anyhow.
No way. There's no chance I could do that.
So my coworker, Sean, he still likes to, I mean, he's pretty much semi-retiring right now from work, and he still likes to go to some shows, and he imbibes in some fun stuff every once in a while. But we'll start talking about like the coke throat like the next day, like just remembering, and it's enough to make us just go, oh no.
So really quick,
thanks.
for
Just
those of us who don't know what coke throat is, I mean,
Exactly.
I'm thinking what, like carbonation or no?
No. No, it sounds like someone just took a 12-inch cock and raw dogged you for fucking hours.
Wow.
And then
That's pretty
gave you
aggressive.
a bloody nose on top of it. That's what it feels like.
Wow. Yeah, that's aggressive. All right.
Just right down the throat. But that's how we can talk ourselves into nope, don't want to do it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, part of the way that, with drinking and stuff, that's where, I hit that certain point where I'm like, if I drink anymore, it's coming back up and I don't want to get sick. I just don't want to do that, so
yeah.
I get it. There is, you have something to where you're like, okay, this is the cutoff point.
That's a really good memory too for me, is that when you have to hurl, but you just know it's about to happen. There's nothing worse than that. Oh
yeah. I usually will just go ahead and have another one to basically just put me over the edge. Well, cause once I get sick, I feel great.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And it's not for like boot and rally purposes, like
exactly.
Yeah, it's just like, otherwise I'm going to be just miserable all night.
Yeah, that's what
you
whatever.
It's like, if I get sick, at least, I'll have to deal with that, but at least I won't have to feel like hot death the rest of the night, And usually I wake up feeling better. So
I want to hear what's going on with you, but before I do, I just sent you a link to a baby registry.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. For some reason, the link wouldn't let me actually click on it.
Remind me. I want to talk about this. How are you doing?
Oh no! Why can't I? I can't see. No, I don't want to share my screen. Jesus, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this anymore.
I do that all the time. I press that stupid button all the time.
Yeah, because it looks like what you would hit to.
Yeah, they'd hit for the chat.
Yeah. Nope. I hate this program. I hate how they keep changing everything. For no reason. You don't need to keep changing the way the buttons look. Just leave them alone. Anyway. Yeah, it's been pretty quiet for me again this week. I had therapy. So that was really nice. I scheduled another appointment. She didn't say anything about not, doing therapy anymore. Meaning, for those who don't know, my therapist said, or I was told that my therapist was going to be moving up into management, so she might not be doing counseling anymore. But apparently, I don't know, that's not the case, or it's not happening right now, because she didn't say well, let's get you scheduled with someone else. It was pretty all right. And I haven't talked about. No, I didn't. I haven't talked about the my return to the urologist. I forgot. I was
what?
Yeah, so I had to go back for the follow up. I had to blood work done, and then I had to go for the follow up. And sat down. Doctor comes in, and he's looking at the chart and goes, "Yeah, no more testosterone for at least a month." And I'm like, "Why?" And he goes, "Well," he's like, "we were hoping to get you close to 350." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "You're at about 630."
Whoa!
And I'm like, "Oh." He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "Your problem is that your body accepted it too well." And he goes, "So we got to back you off because my hemoglobin, the thickness of your blood, for lack of better, whatever, is at what did he say? 18, I think. And they like it to be 16 or a little lower. And I guess 18 is pushing, if it gets much higher, you start getting into heart attack and stroke range. So
you're so thick that we could jam a fucking spigot in you and make
it's like
maple
syrup. Yeah, basically. Why not? I got muscle piss. I got
syrup
blood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know exactly what the hell. Shit, people pay good money for that.
I know, right?
All that fucking shit. I was wondering why suddenly you were sporting such a fine coif of hair.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So really quick, he told me, because I'm like, well, what do I do? How do we get that number down? And he was like, go donate blood.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So I was like, oh, okay. And he goes,
aren't they going to reject it though?
I don't know. Honestly, realistically, the whole point is
just to get rid of it.
Just to get it out of me. So even if they throw it in the trash. Yeah.
Well, there is the thing called bloodletting.
Yeah. I don't think that's
you know
a
what
good idea.
you know you need? You need to manufacture some huge fucking buff leeches. You're like, check this out. I'm going to make a batch fighting leeches. You're going to just have a fucking find yourself a leech fighting group.
Leech man, how'd you get your powers? Well, I used to be just an ordinary leech until I bit this one guy.
You like go to a Magic the Gathering? I got a new one for you guys. Leeches.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so it was, I still, I need to, it sucks. There's no place that's doing like a blood drive or a collection place that's, I mean, the closest is like 20 minutes. There's nothing like really close, but whatever. So I need to do that. Then I have to go within a month, or in a month, I have to go have more, blood drawn for testing. And then I have to go back and see him again, and then we'll go, from there. But
wow,
he's like, I'll tell you what, bro. He's like, if I were you, he's like, I'd be hitting the gym. And he's like, he's like, cause your testosterone's high enough that you could get a benefit from it.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. And I was like, is it dangerous to have it that high? And he's like, if your PSA number, which is, potentially tells you that your risk of cancer's higher or whatever, but my number's great. So he's like, he's like, if that was elevated, I'd be a little, scared or some other things. He's like, but most of your numbers are great. He's like, the only one that isn't that hemoglobin count. And he's like, and you donate blood, that should take care of that. We should be good. So I was like, okay.
Fucking get swole.
Yeah. I was like, geez, man. I was scared at first the way he was telling me that stuff, and then when he said that number, I was like, whoa. And cause I remember when I went in the first time, my number was way low. So not only did it bump to average, but then it blew past average. I mean, my testosterone raised like almost 500 points.
Jesus.
That's
wow.
Yeah. So he's like, I bet you feel better, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I have way more energy than I've had in years, I was telling him about like giving myself the shots though, how, with my hand shaking, it kind of sucks sometimes. And, my insurance is awesome and won't let me do anything else. There's a topical cream. I can't get it because they won't pay for it. There's a pill. They won't pay for it. There's an implant that lasts like 6 months. They won't pay for it. So that's pretty awesome. And it's too expensive. I mean, the injections, I think if I were, paying out of pocket for those, I think it'd be like $150 a month or something like that. And I can't swing that. So who knows what the other stuff costs. I'm assuming more because the insurance won't pay for it. So, whatever. I'm stuck doing that if I want to take the testosterone. But he asked me why. And I told him that, when I was on Wellbutrin, a higher dose, I was really shaky and jittery. And he was like, yeah, man, those neuro drugs will fuck with you. And by the way, for anyone listening, I'm not exaggerating what he said to me. He actually says they'll fuck with you. That's how he said it.
And he called you bro.
He called me bro. Yeah.
Okay.
He's from New York and he's, very much, that guy. And yeah, he's great though. I love going to see him. But anyway, yeah.
Oh shit. You do stink. God damn. Holy ripe. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Whew. So we're taking care of this, another dog.
I was wondering who that was. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Lola, and Lola's owner was talking about that the food makes her a little stinky.
Little.
Like, oh my God. Like it's just not going away.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Wow. Good effort, little guy.
Right. Like, yikes. Yeah.
God. Well, you see, the dog's no bigger than Jax.
Yeah, I was like, that's not, I mean, that seems to be that way though. Like, well, I guess,
really cute.
Like Tony's dog's an exception. She's a good sized dog and oh my God, it's horrible.
Like seriously, my dogs don't have gas. I don't get gassed out. Like it might be a little one where I've been like, did you? Huh. And it's gone. But wow, science diet. Well, because she's like, I don't know if this is any good. It's making her really stinky. And I'm like,
that's funny.
I mean, it smells like I shit myself right now. That's how. It's like right here.
Wow. I know. Just go ahead and admit it, man. There's
just let it out.
Safe place, man.
You're talking about honesty.
As long as you're wearing darks, you're good.
Like, I'll support you.
Yeah.
You can just sit in your own shit.
Listen, it's because I'm not in the same room as you. You know, if I was there, I'd be like, yeah, we're done. I'm leaving. But
yeah, exactly.
No. Oh man. So yeah, anyway, so that's that with the doctors. Overall, that made me feel good leaving there, you know, cause for the most part, that's good. That's really good news.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, and as far as going to give blood, I don't care. Like needles and shit don't bother me. So, you know, also I keep forgetting, I need to find out what blood type I am, cause I don't know. And every time I think about it, I forget to ask. Yeah. So I need to ask whether it's them or my doctor or somebody. I need to, cause I'm sure it's on record somewhere, you know, I'll call a hospital from when I had my surgery.
Well, if you go give some blood, they'll let you know.
Okay. That's what I thought. So, okay, good. So, yeah, that'll be a good time. Actually, it's funny though, cause I was telling my brother about it and he goes, well, let me know when you want to go. He's like, I'll probably go with you. And I'm like, oh, cool. So, you know, by me having to give blood, that's 2 people that they're extra people they're going to get to give blood to them. So,
yeah,
that's awesome. Cause yeah, I'm sure they need it because all these damn natural disasters that keep happening. Like, yeesh.
Yeah, a friend of mine sent me a picture of like the Missouri River or something like that. And I was just like, oh Lord,
yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah, I know they keep showing it on the news and it's like, man, is
that where that is?
Yeah, I think it's out that way. Like, wasn't like Nebraska and Missouri and kind of Missouri. Yep.
Missouri.
It's funny because for a while, I mean, I heard probably Missouri more than I heard Missouri, because of my grandma and my dad being from West Virginia. So whenever they say Missouri, it's Missouri. Just like, a friend of my grandma's name was Naomi and it was Naoma. That was her name. And
interesting.
Yeah. So, and I've dealt with some other weird stuff. Like my grandma used to tell me to put something up against the wall. And you know, and I'm like, what? You know, cause up against the wall, like, and then she'd show me, I'd be like, against, okay, now I know what you're saying, you know, once I know I'm good, you know, so, or, you know, growing up with my dad saying greasy instead of greasy, you know, which I actually say because I just,
it's just fun.
Just like saying it that way.
Yeah, especially when it's for a fact, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was just going to say, and a lot of times it actually adds to the word because sometimes, like, if you're talking about somebody who's greasy, you say they're greasy. It's like, there's that difference, like, you know? Like, ooh. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever watched Trailer Park Boys or not, but that's a term they use, like, for somebody who's, you know, like a real weasel or something, that they're real greasy, basically. Yeah. Yeah, so. Let's see. Did I do anything else this week? Not really. So I was out with my brother, actually the day I went to the doctor's office, and we went to, there's a sporting goods chain here. I don't think they're nationwide. I think it's more like in this area, but it's called Dunham's. Anyway, it's basically, you know, the same kind of store as, Dick's Sporting Goods kind of thing, you know, or pick a large sporting goods store. It's the same thing, you know. We're walking around and my brother wanted to look at the shoes. So, you know, and they're at the very back of the place. So we're walking back that way and, you looking for more scent?
I'm thinking that the dog actually dropped the deucer somewhere.
Oh no.
Like, it's still lingering.
That's some power otherwise. I mean, you might look for like a smoldering crater in your floor or something.
Seriously, sorry to interrupt you, but I was just like, man, it sure smells like there's just a big heaping pile somewhere. Okay, I think I'm okay.
So I'm walking to the back of this store, and, off to the left, I see a bunch of, like hunting equipment and stuff. And then I see cases that have like hunting rifles. That's perfectly normal for a sporting goods store, especially, I don't know if this holds everywhere in the country, but around here, because, it's Michigan, there's hunting here, so whatever, but as I'm walking by the cases, it also catches my eyes that they have like M1 carbine rifles up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I've never seen that in a sporting goods store. I've only seen hunting rifles, maybe shotguns, that's about the cap on it. It was so weird because they had various type rifles like that and handguns that weren't like, a normal pistol that someone would carry for hunting purposes and stuff. It was so weird to me because even though I grew up in this area and there is a lot of hunting not too far from where I grew up and stuff, it's like, I was not raised in a house with guns. I wasn't really around them much. If I went back to West Virginia to see my uncle, it's a little different because he had a hunting goods store at one point. So he's got a bunch of like bows and rifles and all that kind of stuff, and he was always like, let's go out shooting.
Yeah.
Like I want to show, and he was going to, give me a pistol when I was a little kid or give me what is it? The like beginner rifle, that's not super powerful, but a kid can handle it pretty well, but it was weird how I felt, I immediately felt uncomfortable. Like seeing those, even though, they're locked up in a case, they're perfectly safe. There's no clips in them. There's no, it was just so weird to me. And I pointed them out to my brother and he had the same feeling. And I think it's the same thing. We were never around guns.
Gotcha.
Except, like I said, I'm used to going, even Walmart has hunting rifles, so, or did. I don't know if they still do, but they did. So a lot of stores we've been to have had those, but I had never seen guns that I'm like, I use that in Call of Duty. Like,
exactly.
So it was just a little weird to me. And I'm not making any judgments on guns. It's funny to me how something like on one hand, I'm like, oh yeah, rifles, no big deal. Then I'm like,
no big deal. But it's like, oh,
like those rifles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there was a Cabela's I went into that had a big, huge shooting section. Plus they were selling a lot of vintage and classic arms and they had a special room that you can go into, and it was like that too. I walked in, I was like, damn, that's awesome. Yeah. Like it was some really nice stuff,
right? And
a lot of really like immaculate condition, classic rifles from forever,
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah,
kind of neat.
That's why, like, at first I wasn't like when I got home, I was like, well, maybe those are just like, maybe it's, the body of something. Maybe it's not anything that's a real big deal. And then I went on their website and the very first gun I saw was the M1. I think it's an M1.
Yeah.
But, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I was right. They sell, and I scroll down and, it has a thing. It's like we sell guns for, sporting or, home protection, whatever kind of thing. So I was like, okay. I was like, so they must be, like a gun store kind of also. But I never knew that. And I've been in their stores before, but there's less of them around here now. There used to be a lot of them near the Detroit area.
What's it called again?
Dunham's. Dunhams. Sorry. But yeah, that was the first thing I did. Like I said, I clicked on their website and looked at the guns. I was like, wow, they have more than I thought. And they have more online, I think, than they did in the store. So
yeah, they specialize in guns. They do guns.
Yeah. I was like, I did not. That's why I said it was just weird to me. Because again, if you go into Dick's, they don't carry those kind of guns.
Yeah, no, they stopped.
Yeah. And before, I think they mostly had like, again, hunting rifles more than anything. But yeah, it's.
So the M1 from World War II.
Yeah.
Like the actual M1 Garand. I mean, it looks like a hunting rifle. It's mostly wood.
It does. If I remember from Grand Theft Auto, from Call of Duty, I believe it's like a single shot kind of thing. But
it's a 5-round
I think it's one where you can fire. Yeah, I was going to
think.
say, you know what? I think you can fire, like you don't have to fire and then reload or pull a bolt or anything. But
it's got a distinctive sound when the clip fires, which is kind of one of the reasons they had to stop using them, because
that makes sense.
Basically know that you're out of rounds now.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay.
That would suck bad.
Oh yeah, no, because that's what it was like.
Yeah.
Ping. Okay, he's out. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, they have full on Smith & Wesson semi-automatic. Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah, that's why I said
they got some stuff.
It was just weird to me because I haven't been in stores that carry that, you know.
Like seriously, some of the stuff in here is like, if I walked in and saw that too, I'd be like, okay, yeah,
right.
Like a Diamondback 9mm Luger, like that's freaking 31 round magazine.
Yeah.
Whew, that's a wicked looking weapon. Oh, here we go. The Mossberg Tactical 22 semi-automatic long rifle.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as your assault style weapon.
Yeah.
Huh. Mossbergs. Yeah, they sure do look impressive. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. It was really strange, you know, and I know I've said that a million times now, but that was, I'll have a link to their, store site if anybody, you know, just wants to look, because it is interesting how much they carry. They had quite a few in the store. The actual like rifles, you know, bigger type rifles, where they didn't have a ton of them. I think they had about 5 or so, and then they had a lot of handguns and stuff. And again, I'm not talking just like a Glock or some like this is a pistol you'll carry on your side in case a coyote or something gets near you. You know, like that. It was more like, no, they're selling guns for like, you know, open carry type situations or whatever, you know, like those are personal handguns. Those aren't just, you know,
they have some $6,000 rifles here. They have a lot of rifles that are about $6,000.
Oh, wow.
Holy crap.
Wow. The ones I was looking at were like 550.
Yeah. No, there's a whole bunch of them here that are, most of them are between 500 and 1,000, but they have a bunch in here that are well up over $4,000.
Now, they didn't have any of those in the store I was in. All the ones in the store I think were like $650 and under or something to that effect. They were cheaper.
Yeah. Whew. That's some, I don't even know what half this stuff is. I just know it looks impressive.
Yeah, right. Same here. If I know what it is, it's only because it's been in Call of Duty, you know?
Exactly. No kidding, huh?
That's totally it, yeah.
Wonder if their most expensive handgun is. Sort by highest price. Yeah. They have $3,879.99 pistol.
Whoa.
A Colt. Wow.
Damn. All right then.
Yeah. Here we have the Ed Brown ECSS Executive Carry Single 45 Automatic Colt Pistol. Laminated wood grip. Stainless. $3,399.
Like when it says executive on it, I think that it's like for a CEO kind of a situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like
the
comes
executive
free,
carry.
free monogramming and you know. Like,
here's one. These are the brand is Ed Brown. Evidently, Ed Brown is a very high end brand.
Sure.
But the Ed Brown KCSS 9mm Cobra carry, Cobra with a K.
Oh, of course, for quality.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's because Cobra with a K says quality.
Well, I don't remember what store it was. There used to be one around here that there was like the store brand was called like Quality, and it was with a K. So that became like me and my nephew. It's always been a joke that's, you know, be like, that's Quality, and the other will say with a K, you know, kind of a thing. Because that's you know, I know why they do it, because you can't, you know, you can copyright Quality with a K. You can't copyright Quality with a Q or whatever. So yeah, it was, you know, like I said, I get it. It's just one of those where you just shake your head, you know. That was back when stuff was like, you know, it's not like now where Kroger's brand is like Simple Truth or Private Selection, or, you know, it does, you know, most of the time stuff isn't just like Kroger, you know. They make it sound a little fancier than just store brand, you know.
They got some great revolvers too. Awesome. Just very classic.
Yeah.
Very neat.
So, yeah. I'm curious though, like, the fact that my brother had the same reaction, I think was like, okay, this is normal for someone who's not raised around this stuff, kind of a thing. It's because I could see some people that are raised around guns and stuff probably going there like it's no big deal. Like it's not.
Oh yeah.
Others like you said, because I know you were raised with guns, if I'm not mistaken. So, or around guns, whatever. So, and you said that it would be like, okay, so yeah. All right. It's really interesting. The weirdest part to me, honestly, was that there was nobody in the back, like over there. Like there was no attendant over there. You'd think there'd always be, I know they're locked up, but you'd still think there'd be somebody over in the gun section, just for, I don't know, peace of mind. But
yeah,
whatever. So, yeah.
Impressive stuff.
It was kind of like, there was a store I went to, up here that it was a guy who sold a lot of stuff for like, doomsday prep kind of stuff, a bunch of the giant cans of food and various stuff. And he could not have been a nicer guy, but they sold stuff like beans and rice. And I mean like bulk, to where you could scoop out how much you want. But they had a bunch of other stuff too. Like they had loose, actual like tea leaves, not like bags or whatever, but the actual, and stuff like that. And they had salads and sandwiches and various other stuff. It was a nice little bit of produce. It was a nice little store. First time I went in there though, like the guy gets up to show us where something is, and I saw he had a gun on him. And I was like, whoa, cause again, I'm not used to that. And, this is Michigan. I'm pretty sure Michigan has open carry. I can't remember, but I think they do. But it was still, and I'm sure the guy has a license, all that baloney. He was in the military because he told me. So, as we were talking, he was just kind of giving me his background. But it was still weird. That first movement, when I saw it and I was like, whoa. Yeah. And, then it's like, okay, whatever. I don't, I in no way felt like the guy was going to like open fire on me. It was just, like I said, just a little strange at first. Really, if someone had a massive knife on the side of him, I'd be the same way, or carrying like a machete or something. I'd be like, whoa, like, okay, don't fuck with him,
There's a revolver in here. It's got a 2.5-inch barrel and it's a 44 Magnum.
Huh.
Like, I can't even imagine what the kick is like on that.
Yeah, right.
Like, it just looks, you look like freaking Pete Townsend from The Who, swinging your arm around in a circle. Playing guitar? Nope. Shooting a gun.
Shoot the gun enough, you're going to be like one of those action figures you play with too much and the joints just loose like that. Oh man,
that was an interesting walk down retail. You know what? All right, so looking at a site like that, I get why people collect guns.
Oh, I
totally
do too.
Get
yeah,
it, because there's so much cool stuff there. I'd be like, oh yeah, I want one of those too. I want one of those too.
Right. I just spilled my Coke. Anyway,
I think the air's finally clean here.
Well, good. I'm glad. That was.
Wow.
I was hoping the EPA wasn't come out and shut you down,
It just didn't go away.
Oh, man. Man, are you kidding me? The one time I don't have, like, a paper towel or napkin in here.
Or anything.
Yeah. So.
Shirt, underwear. Where's your cum sock?
Not here. That's for sure. No. Luckily, it wasn't very much, and there's no electronics near it. So, not like the one time when I full-on dumped, it was a completely full can, dumped it all over 2 of my external hard drives, a keyboard. Luckily, the keyboard had a cover on it. It's one of those rubber ones. Basically, you can just go hose off, and they're good, But yeah, I was really afraid I was going to lose those hard drives, but they worked fine after, so. Must have got to it before it got inside or something. Yeah, I agree with you though. It's like, it's weird because I'm really not a gun person, but when I see them, there's something about them that just looks cool. And I think it's probably because, I grew up playing with G.I. Joe and, video games. I've played a lot of shooter type video games and all that kind of stuff. Now I'm also, I'm not one that if I had a gun, I would be willy nilly or something with it. I full on respect how dangerous they are. But like when my dad died, I inherited 2 guns. One was my dad's when he was a kid. It was his, was that 22 or whatever, the like kind of like the first rifle a lot of people use. And then one that was my grandpappy's, and I was like, yeah, I don't want these in my house. It's not me, and I'm not making judgment on anybody else. I've just that's how I feel. And so I asked my brothers if they wanted them first, just because I didn't want to sell them and have them be like, come on, dude, what, But none of us went out hunting with my dad or my grandpa. So it's, there's no memories tied to any of these things. And, found a guy who loves guns, really wanted the one that was my grandpa's because it was an older gun, not worth crazy money. It needed some stuff to be fixed. But I sold it. I got some okay money out of them, but it was just, I was like, I'm not going to put them up on the wall. And honestly, that would be all I would do with them if I did keep them. Because I might put them up on a wall somewhere, and if someone says something, be like, well, it was my grandpa's, it was passed down to my dad, passed down to me, like it's just a whatever, or if I have to, beat someone with the business end of it, whatever. You just, you never know what you need. So, on the upside, I have a really hard time finding shoes that are wide widths, like in the store. Like online, I can find them all day, but online I can't try them on, that Dunham's place had a ton of like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, all like wide selection of all of those. Nike for a while, I couldn't find wide unless I bought them off their website. Like even there was a Nike outlet not too far from here I used to go to, and they didn't have them there either. So I was happy to see that. But anyway, that was a fun trip for us. So,
sounds like a fun store.
Actually, it was. I mean, we walked around looking at a lot of stuff. I mean, it's a big, again, like Dick's is a big sporting goods store, and this place was every bit as big as most of those are. So,
well, it's like Cabela's has an entire freaking aquarium section where they have fish, trout and salmon and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's amazing how long you can just wander through that place. Yeah.
I know people who go up there and just do that. They just hang out, let the kids go to the fishing thing, and, or they have a lot of activities at them for like families or kids or whatever too. So, it's like, whatever. The best part about the Cabela's that opened not too far from here in Dundee is, that it employs a bunch of people. So, that's always a good thing. So it's not really my kind of store because, I know you may be shocked. I'm not very active. And I don't hunt. And that really is basically what they sell is, but they have a ton of like clothes and stuff too. And not just like hunting gear clothes, but, same with Dunham's. They just have Levi's. Just jeans, and they've just got graphic t-shirts and whatnot, like, but then of course they also have workout shirts and all, Nike branded shirts and jerseys and all that kind of stuff. So it's, like you said, it was interesting to just walk around there.
Yeah.
So what the weirdest part, aside from the gun thing to me, was, kind of like the guns were kind of off to the left when you're walking toward the back, the middle kind of to the right. When you go back there, it was almost like walking into an unfinished basement. Like I think it was a back room previously, and they just opened it up, because it's not painted. There's the drop ceiling isn't the same. It echoes like crazy, whereas the rest of the store, I think, that drop ceiling kind of keeps the sound in. But back there, it bounces around. So it was kind of weird. It was almost like going into the back room, like I said, of a place. That's back where they keep like the ellipticals and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, have you watched, you have Netflix now, don't you?
I do.
Okay. Have you watched the Love, Death and Robots?
No, I have not.
No?
I've been binging on The Expanse.
Ah, okay. I've heard good things about that.
I fucking love that show.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard good things about it.
I am digging it. So what's love boners and Pickles.
Well, funny you should say that. There's a lot of nudity in it.
Is there really?
There's a lot of wang and full-on naked women. Yeah. And most of it's gratuitous. Most of it is really unnecessary. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wang.
But the animation, like, it's an anthology, and there's what I think 18 episodes, but they're all like under 20 minutes. Some are 5 minutes, some are 17, 18, 20 minutes. And each one is different, and some of them are a little more fantasy, some are sci-fi, that kind of thing.
Huh.
And you know,
That
like,
sounds fun.
yeah, the third one that's on there is animated by the same people who did Into the Spider-Verse. And I freaking love it. Like, the animation's so good. And it's hard to recommend because the protagonist in it basically is running around naked the whole time. So, you know, it's a little difficult to recommend, but at the same time, it's really awesome.
Oh, come on. Sounds profoundly recommendable.
Yeah. Well, it starts like she sees a murder, and the guy basically looks across the street and sees her. So then she's on the run from that point, and I won't give any more away, but that's the whole thing, you know. So, but
what's it called again?
That episode is called The Witness.
No, the show. What's it?
Love, Death, and Robots.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah. And it's, you know, there's one where it's these robots exploring, basically well in the future where humans aren't around anymore, and they're finding things, and one of them's like, have you ever seen Futurama where they find old New York and they're like, this is what people did in those days, and they're way off.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
Okay.
That must
It's
be
like
funny.
they went to a museum on one of them, and Fry, you know, being from that time, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is what they did. And he's like, we didn't do that. You know?
That's great.
Yeah. Anyway, so these robots are doing kind of the same thing, is they're finding stuff, and they're like, you know, rumor has it that the humans did this, and most of the stuff they're like way off, and it's funny. It's really funny. And like a cat stumbles in front of one of them, and, you know, he starts petting it, and it purrs, and all of a sudden they think the cat's a bomb.
That's funny.
Yeah. And, there's more. I won't give any more away, but, there's, some of them are a little more serious. There's one about, a girl that's, oh shit, I forgot what they're called. It's basically a woman that can also turn into kind of like a cat that has like 8 tails or whatever. Or maybe not a cat. She might be a wolf. I don't know. But anyway, how, you know, like she, in order to basically survive, she's, you know, she becomes like a prostitute, and she ends up getting, this guy basically turns her into all mechanic, stuff. And this guy who with her is, their paths cross off and on, and he was enamored with her when he was a kid, and she comes to him because she needs help, and he's really good at building mechanical stuff, like steampunky kind of stuff.
Oh, cool.
And the animation on that's really good too. It's so many of them. Most of the episodes have really good animation. There's a couple of them that I had to look at twice because I'm like, I don't know if that's real. There's one with Topher Grace in it, and he's like, at first I was like, I can't tell if this is animation or if this is real. Like, this is weird. In the best way. You know, it was, like I said, if it was animation, wow. You know? But some of them are more realistic looking. There's one about like soldiers out in the, woods in Siberia trying to fight off a threat, and, that one's really good too. Oh my God. And there's one that is, this woman's alone, and she's up on like a, space station kind of thing, or she's sent up to repair something. And when she gets out of her little shuttle thing and she goes to, she's out working, and basically a rock hits her air tank. And when it does, it shoots her away from the station.
Okay.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know science, you can't just, you know, swim your way back to the station. Once you're in motion, you need something to essentially push you the other way to give you the opposite motion. And then the thing is, like, her air tank is dropping. Like, it damaged her air tank, so she's only got so much air left. And it's her by herself, and you feel the tension of her running low on oxygen, facing her own death, and trying to figure out what she can do to get herself back to the pod. Wow. And it's super tense, but it's really good. Like, the story is very well done. So yeah, I dug a lot of the stories in them too. And like I said, the best part is that they're small bites. You know, you can sit down and watch like 4 of them in an hour, you know. So I recommend it a lot. Yeah. It was a fun watch too. And like I said, you know, especially if you're looking for computer generated wang or, you know, probably overly bouncy boobs. Cause I mean, you know, they weren't really, there wasn't a lot of physics involved on some of them. Like the girl barely moves and it's just like, you know, like, and she's got like smaller boobs, which you wouldn't think would shake as much as they do. So yeah, I don't want to be a nitpicky person. The sad part is I've recommended that episode of it, The Witness, to different people. I'm like, yeah, it's by the people who, you know, did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And they're like, oh. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot everybody doesn't love that animation. So.
Yeah. What is with that? Why?
I don't know. I don't get it.
I
think it's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people who are not fans. So. Whatever, you know, to each. But I think there's episodes of that show that I think there's at least like, you know, there's different episodes that people will like. Some is, oddly enough, I think the show leads off in a similar way to Black Mirror in that the first episode maybe shouldn't be the first episode.
Okay.
Which, you know, when you watch it, you'll see what I mean. I think they should have went from one that's a little more like, that kind of pull you in a little better than maybe that one does. So, but yeah, good stuff. So you watch anything?
I like it.
Well, you say you've been watching The Expanse. So
yeah, The Expanse. I've just been kind of hooked on that. Actually, I'm supposed to have watched a couple Orville's and a Gotham podcast, but I haven't because I've been watching The Expanse. I just love it. It's great.
Classic.
It's good. It's just solid science fiction,
which is always nice.
Yeah, and especially like when I like a science fiction where they come up with their own kind of language. They try to base it in some reality. You know, this is my main thing. And like most of the Star Trek, pretty much anything that's movie related, the way that ships they show ships flying through space,
which isn't how it works.
Which isn't how it works. And The Expanse tries to make it realistic, including the amount of freaking G-forces that would be created by suddenly spinning something that quickly,
right,
and hitting the freaking thrusters, you know, or just making a quick move,
right?
You know, the amount of force that would because again, like you said, there's no friction.
Yeah.
You set the go button, it goes, you know, and
exactly. Yeah.
So
like in space, if you just throw a rock, it will continue to go until it hits something, directs it differently. You know, there's no wind that moves it and stuff. Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. So they try to do something somewhat realistic about the effects of people living out in space or being born in space, what happens to their bodies, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of neat too. I like that part of it.
That makes sense.
Then there's just fiction too, science fiction part of it, which is great. So I'm enjoying it. And I think the characters are kind of cool. It's kind of neat.
Cool.
I'm definitely digging that on Amazon. So I haven't been back on Netflix in a while.
Yeah, it doesn't look like I have access to Amazon anymore. So it was weird. I did because a friend of mine put me on his account. And the other day, like I could only watch it on my phone though. And I can't like throw it to my TV. You know, it was because it's blocked that way, whatever. The other night I went to watch something and it's like, you don't have access. And I'm like, okay. So I texted him and was like, hey, did you get rid of that, or did you remove me? Because either way, that's fine. You know, I just am curious. And he goes, no. And he looks and he's like, yeah, it shows you're eligible. So I don't know. I don't know what happened, but
that's weird.
Yeah, which is sad because there's a variety of stuff I want to watch on Amazon now. But yeah, what can you do? Yeah,
that's it.
That's good to know, though. I'd forgot that was on Amazon because I'm like, I know I added that to a list somewhere, but it was like, no, so it's not Netflix, you know? Yeah. I was like, that's why I was just going through. It's like, was it HBO? Like, that doesn't seem right. Man. So anything else? Like, have you seen anything like movie wise or anything?
I was going to go see Captain Marvel today, and I ended up actually playing some music, which was really kind of cool. Which I put together this a pedal board for my guitar, and you know I have amps and everything like that, but what I wanted to create is something that I could take anywhere with me, and I didn't need to have an amplifier. I could plug it in wherever I go. If there's a PA system, I could plug it in there and it'll sound good, you know, and that kind of thing. So I finally finished it today, and it actually like wrote 2 songs.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah, I was like, and so I was just enjoying myself, and I'm like, movies can wait. This doesn't happen to me very often.
Right. Yeah. I was like, Captain Marvel will be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if it isn't, you can watch it at home. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is kind of cool. I haven't been excited to like play this much in a while, so that's kind of neat.
That's very cool. Yeah. I like that. For anyone listening, if you want to hear more, me and Henno talk more about frustrations and or situations with creativity, go listen to The Crazy Life, because we talk about it quite a bit over there. I mean, just go listen anyway if you don't.
You guys were on with S. Anthony Thomas show?
Yeah, I have that written down to talk about it. I actually had missed it. So yeah, a couple weeks ago we had an interview with S. Anthony, who, if you've been around for a long time on the show, back in episode, was it 21 or something like that, of The Enthusiast, we had him on like 3 years ago.
That's amazing.
So long ago. But yeah, that was a really fun talk. We dig him. He's a lot of fun. So yeah, at some point we'll probably have him back on The Enthusiast again, because, you know, it's been quite a while, and be like, you know, and he's got a different, he's got 2 podcasts now. One is just him talking, and then there's the other one where he has people on that he wants to not really even interview, but, you know, kind of like us, is just have a conversation with some people you think are cool or whatever. So yeah, that episode is out now. And you know, you can, I was trying to think, I'll have the link in the show notes, but you can also, shoot, I forgot what he's on Twitter. Is it S. Anthony or at S. Anthony Says? I can't remember. I should know, because he's been promoting the heck out of that episode.
I know on Facebook it was tagged at S. Anthony Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up
that might just be Instagram.
Yeah, I forgot I was going to have this information already pulled up, and whoopsies.
There you have it. Although, so I was just looking at the Salty Language Facebook page, and Tony posted this clip of the scene where Gandalf the Grey rips off his cloak and he's Gandalf the White underneath, except this one's Gandalf the Tidy Whitey Wizard. So when he rips off the coat, it's him just in tidy whities. And then Theoden and King does the reaction. It's like, oh my God, that's funny.
That's really good.
Like, it is really good. The reaction.
Wow.
It's just wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, if you haven't checked that out, go check that out, because it's just goddamn funny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
there it is. Maybe. Huh.
So my friend that I used to play music with, Aquila, he's having a baby.
And, hold on real quick. If you want to follow S. Anthony on Twitter, it's at S. Anthony Thomas. Where is it? Yeah, anyway, so it's S. Anthony with, and then Brian and Tony from Salty Language. Like I said, I'll have the link in the show notes. So, all right.
So they're doing a baby shower, and, you know, Sharon and I, you know, not having children, not wanting any children, we're like, we really want to go to this, you know, but I'm like, yeah, this you know, Aquila's a good friend of mine.
Right.
We may not hang out that much as we used to, but he's still someone that's very important in my life. So I'm like, I'll go. And then I'm like, register to Target. So let's go see what's on their registry. So the first thing that hit me is they got the 20 Mule Team Borax box for $4.59. I'm like, I can just go down to the grocery store and buy that. Like, it just made me laugh. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
I was tempted to just walk in with one for the shower.
Oh, that is too funny. Yeah, right. Well, I get it. Like looking at because you sent me the list.
Yeah.
Looking through it, it's like I do appreciate that they do have stuff from like $2,399 up. So if you only wanted to spend $10, you could and get them a few things. So that is, I like when people do that because instead of essentially going, oh, hey, here's my registry, everything's 50 or higher. And it's like, I don't have that kind of money right now. Yeah. So,
but there's the one, as I scroll down, there's this blue thing with a white band around it. And I'm like, it looks like a fucking suppository installer or some sort of a vibrator.
Yeah.
I'm just like clicking. I'm like, Munchkin Booty Brush Diaper Cream Applicator. I'm just like,
so essentially you weren't wrong. I mean, it's pretty much that. Oh, jeez.
I mean, and above that is something that kind of looks like a diaphragm for $2.99, but it's a summer infant finger toothbrush, and that's the case.
Oh, that's what that is.
It looks like a tickler with a diaphragm.
I'm not gonna lie, you're right. Yeah, I'd feel bad for whoever was wearing that, but
like it looks like one of those things you put on your cockhead so it's ribbed for pleasure, right?
It sure does. Yeah. It's amazing how many dog toys or animal toys / baby products look like adult things.
Yeah. Yep. But the best one of all, as I scroll down on the left-hand side, was this woman sitting reading a book with the suction cups for the milkers.
Yeah.
They're like free hanging. She's reading a book. She's got it in her hands. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Oh my God, you're right. So, what the hell is that?
Right? Because it's one of the only photos. And I open it up, it's Medela Easy Expression Hands-Free Pumping Bustier.
Wow. I mean, that's awesome. You can fill some bottles and still keep up on, your reading.
The latest.
That's pretty useful. I mean, wow. I've never seen, I've seen the whole,
the rig.
Yeah, but I've never seen somebody wear a hands-free one. So,
Yeah. Hands-free.
Go technology.
I know. And it was just so shocking to see like the photo of her with it on.
Well, what's funny is when you said it and I was like, oh, okay. And then as I'm like, did a quick scroll down to it.
Yeah.
I was like, is she wearing a top? Like, I was like, oh yeah, it is. Yeah. So
we ended up getting them some cute little booties we found, but on one of them I said, I was thinking about buying the hands-free pumping bustier, but only if Aquila would wear it once.
Oh, totally, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because what husband hasn't put that thing on?
Oh yes,
like, and then done the whole like, what's creepy guy from Silence of the Lambs?
Buffalo Bill, like that.
Yeah, when he's in the
I'd
mirror,
milk me.
I'd fuck me. I'd pump me.
Yeah. And divorced. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Oh Lord, it just made me laugh because it's exactly like you said. There's some things in here I was like, whoa, what's that?
Yeah, as I was scrolling through the stuff, it was the same thing. I was like, well, huh? And then like a couple of them the ones you described were pretty much the ones that I was like, what is that?
What is that?
Yeah. It's like, well, it's at Target, so I know it's nothing like lewd, but still. Yeah. What would have been funny is to just buy the stuff that's like that and put it together like it's an adult toy basket or something like that.
Yeah.
Then have them be like, "This is a finger toothbrush." But oh.
You're like quickly reaching in your pants.
Yeah. Whoopsies. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Hey, baby, I want to brush your teeth. Come here. Wow.
Oh, wow. That's, you know what? I bet someone would make a porno out of that.
Yeah. I would think so. Yeah. Why not, right? It's good fun.
Wearing the hands-free pumping bustier.
Nice. Well, I mean, you can get extra things done. Like you can pump and pump, if you know what I'm saying. You know? Should give two handies while, getting milked. I mean, that's
double pumper.
That's pretty efficient. Yeah.
Yeah. I ran to the grocery store before we podcasted, and that was the other thing that happened this week. My fucking refrigerator broke.
Sweet.
My brand new refrigerator. And just the worst. I had bought myself a nice big package of uncured thick bacon. And I was going to do my smashed potatoes with bacon and broccoli. Mm-hmm. And I was on my way home thinking about it the whole way. I'm like, yes, I'm going to make this. Yeah. And I get in the house and I opened the drawer. And as soon as I lifted it up, the whole package just went because it was just, and I'm like, because I had been like the day before, I was like, does nothing feel cold in here? Like it's just, but it wasn't enough to make me register. And it did, like I have magnetic humidifiers, or I'm sorry, humidistats, I guess, that I put in various places of the house, and it has the temperature and the humidity in it for my guitars and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's no reason I can't have one in the fridge so I could see that it's fucking 60 in there.
That's true. Yeah.
But I was like, I hadn't even thought about it. And what just fucking pissed me off is I just bought a shit ton of food.
Yeah.
I had the day before I'd gone and bought a bunch of, just stocked up, and I'm just like doing the whole, all right, might it be good still, and it's just like, no, you just got to throw it out. Some of the salad dressing stuff, like I'm not going to worry about ketchup. I'm not going to worry about like, like a vinegar and oil type of a dressing, that kind of stuff.
That stuff's all probably fine. Yeah.
Yeah. But anything that's like a mayonnaise or any cream base or anything dairy, I was like, just gone.
Right in the trash. Yep. We did the same thing when ours died. Yeah.
And I just sat there and I was like, so I get everything out. I grab a cooler, fill up the cooler, but the freezer's still fine. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I think the fans, it's the evaporator fan that's gone out. And I stick my hand in, and where usually I feel air, I'm like, okay, there's no air from here. I'm pretty sure there's air supposed to go here. Do a quick look online. I'm like, okay, where's the evaporator fan on this thing? Okay, 2 screws, a panel in the back of the freezer. So I pull out my my little drill driver, pull the screws off, pull the thing out. Sure shit, the fan's not even moving. It's just frozen. Oh, wow. So I undo the whole thing. It's plastic, blah, blah. It just pops off real easily. Yeah, totally fixed. I loosen it up so it'll spin freely again, but nothing. And I'm like, okay, well, it's under warranty. Before I go fucking something up and they don't warranty it, I better just call, Yeah. Because I checked, it's a $60 part. It's like, okay, it's not worth it. Because I could literally Amazon it in 2 days.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, all right, I'll call for the warranty stuff. So I call, and the first thing they have is a fucking automated assistant. Ugh. Create an account. Give us your last name. Spell it like this. And they tell you how slow. So I was like, all right, fine. So I got through the name. I got through the address. They wanted just like the first bit of your address, all that stuff. Then it said serial number. And I'm like, all right. So I'm doing the serial number, and my last 3 digits are 229. And it kept saying 2Q9. And I'm like, no. Do the whole thing again. This time it's like 2 fucking F9, whatever. I'm like, no. And they're like, we'll put you through to somebody. Thank you. So they get me on the phone, and they're like, what's wrong with the fridge? And I'm like, the evaporator fan's gone out. Okay. Let's get your information. I got to start over again because it didn't get all your info. Fine.
Right.
Give all the information. Then she says, okay, I need to do some troubleshooting steps. I'm like, questions. I'm like, all right. Look behind your refrigerator. Is it plugged in? I'm like, oh, fuck me. I'm like, yes, it's plugged in.
Have you
Is
tried
the
turning it
door
off and
closed?
turning it back on again?
Yeah, like, is the door closed? Yes, the fucking door's closed.
You know what
I'm
though?
like,
I will guarantee so many of their calls, that's the problem, is people aren't getting the door shut all the way.
it's like, I was like, oh Lord. And then finally, we go through all of them, and I'm not being a dick. I'm being very,
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, power, blah, 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 power that, da, 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 da. We get the last one. Can you get a $1 bill and slide it between the seal of the door? I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the evaporator fan.
Yeah.
She's like, sir, I have to go. All right, fine. Fake rummage, fake slip thing.
For
through.
sure. Yeah, there's no way
You
you're
know.
doing it. Yeah.
Does it slip freely or is it dead? Slip freely. Okay. I'm going to give you, we can have an appointment tomorrow, cause this was on Wednesday, and I'm like, all right, Thursday, I've taken so much time off for the dog already. I'm like, I can't do this, I'm like, I can't, I need to set up an appointment, so, all right, we'll call this number, we'll have them call you. And you can set up an appointment. So Thursday goes through, I don't get a phone call. Friday morning, I get up, I call the number, and I know who it is. We only have we have a couple appliance guys up here. So Larry calls me back. He's like, I don't do any warranty work anymore. I'm like, great. So I call them back up, and they're like, okay, well, this company only does appointments on Thursdays. I'm like, motherfuck.
Oh, jeez.
So now I got to wait a week. But at least the one good thing we got going for us is, it's still winter. So I put the cooler out on the back porch.
We did the same thing. Like when ours died a few months ago. Well, it's been longer, a few months, whatever. When it died, we did the same thing. Like the freezer still worked fine, but the refrigerator wasn't keeping anything cold. And but I forgot what it was. It wasn't the fan. It was something else that was just dead. And basically it was, an expensive fix. So we were just like, time for a new fridge, Yeah. Yeah, we did the same thing though. And the same thing, like, is it dairy? Trash, unless it's something we're eating right this second kind of a thing, garbage, same with meat, anything in the fridge that was meat, just right in the garbage. Cause you just, you don't want to risk a lot of that. And then everything that needed to stay cold into a couple coolers and out onto our porch. Yep. And like you said,
there was
it was
package
perfect.
of turkey meat, like lunch meat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I could slice this up for the dogs. Cause what really bummed me out is that my buddy Hart gave me a bunch of elk meat and I'd used most of it, but I was like, all right, I'm not feeding this to dogs. We got to throw this away.
Yeah.
But there was this turkey meat and I'm like, well, dogs can fucking drink and eat some raw ass gnarly shit and not have an upset stomach. So I started slicing it up and I'm just imagining a big shit fest in my bed around 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, yeah, garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks because, you waste so much food, but
it just killed me.
But it's so much better than, getting sick or like you making your dog sick or something,
Yeah.
Like you said, they do have pretty robust stomachs, but,
Still, yeah. So I went to the grocery store beforehand and I'm like, well, freezer section, luckily our grocery store has some really good ready-made foods from their deli and things like that. So I'm like, anything I can throw in the cooler,
right.
That I don't have to worry about.
And if you need meat, you could always stop on the way home and grab,
something for the night.
For the night. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the thing was, I'm like, okay, I'm podcasting tonight. I'll be doing something, whatever, Sunday night. I'll be podcasting Monday, probably Tuesday. It's like every night is a quick meal anyway. So frozen pot stickers, whatever. No big deal. Some vegetables. But the one thing, I'm going down the cracker and cookie aisle and I see fudge covered Nutter Butters.
Oh yeah. I saw those the other day. It took everything I had to leave them.
So fucking good. I took everything I had not to eat every single section of that thing. Oh my God, they're delicious.
That was why I didn't get them, because I figured that was going to be the result, is me going, why did I eat the whole bag?
So good. Oh my God. Yeah, that was delicious. And then the other thing I saw on New York Times, a Canadian dessert that's goes back to the 1950s called a Nanaimo bar.
Okay.
And it's a 3-layer bar that doesn't require any baking. And so the base is like coconut and chopped walnuts.
All right, I'm out.
Bound Yeah, bound together by a buttery silt of cocoa and crushed graham crackers, a middle layer of yellow buttercream, like right on the edge of liquefaction, and then the top is a crust of chocolate.
Oh my goodness.
Like hard and brittle chocolate.
Yeah. Oh.
And it's these 3 layers. And it just looks like something between like, oh, no fucking way and
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yep. Oof. Yeah,
It was a neat story. You know, like where it was kind of cool where, you know, like people started making these out of, you know, kind of, and then they changed, but they were all being called Nanaimo bars or whatever. Kind of neat like that. That's something that's not that old.
Right.
You know, like it's something that can be traced back to the last, you know, within 100 years. So they can actually kind of figure out where it started and stuff and all the various, you know, iterations of it.
Do you have a link for?
Yeah. I'll grab a link for that.
Send me that link. I'll have that in the show notes too. So, neat.
Yeah, it was neat. I was like, and it's something that you could totally just make for yourself as a dessert. I mean, I'm becoming a little more like, all right, so I have been vehemently anti-coconut, mostly from texture. You and I have talked about this a million times.
Yeah.
However, I'm starting to kind of get past it a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, like I've had some coconut recently that I've been like, you know, that's not bad.
Oh, I'm still staunchly on the other side. So, yeah. I had some a few weeks ago. I tried something with coconut and I was just like, nope, still can't. Like, still don't like it. So, but I tried.
Bite size. Yeah, you tried.
You know, it's...
As long as that, you know, I like the flavor. It's just the texture. It's, if that texture is, you know.
Yeah. Dang it. I just did the same thing again with the...
You froze the screen. I do that every single stream. It's so funny.
There it is. Jeez. Yeah, that's... I can understand that, though. You know, I actually have known a few people that didn't like coconut when they were kids, but as they got older, they did like it. So I wonder if it has to do with anything... even though it's not like an extreme taste, but you know, like when you're a kid, your palate tends to lean more sweet. As you age, it tends to lean more bitter. You know, I wonder if it has anything to do with that because it's not really.
It's not sweet.
It's not really sweet. It's not bitter either, but it leans more that way than,
It's subtle.
It's subtle, yeah. So I don't know. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm sad to see you go from Team No. Coconut.
Team maybe.
On to Team Maybe. I don't like it.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't like it at all. Nope. Nah. Oddly enough, it's a term used for a way different topic, but I won't yuck your yum, you know?
Yuck your yum. That's so great.
I love that. This is the first time I heard that term. It just cracks me up. What's his name? Kevin Allison that does the Risk podcast. He says it all the time too. Like when he's talking about stuff and someone will say something and be like, you know, don't yuck someone else's yum. Kind of a
yum.
Thing.
That's good.
Yeah. And it's like, he's right. It's, you know, yeah. Let's see. I think I have one more thing to talk about. Well, actually I have two things. I have.
Excellent.
Did you, I think somebody dropped this in our group, but I was going to talk about it anyway. Like this is from CNN and it says spaceflight is activating herpes in astronauts.
No, I missed that one.
Yeah, so the longer astronauts spend in space, the more likely they are to have viruses like herpes, chickenpox, and shingles reactivate, according to new NASA research. The reason may be the same for viral reactivation on Earth. Stress. Yeah, it says samples of blood, urine, and saliva were collected from astronauts before, during, and after short space shuttle flights and long-term International Space Station missions. Herpes viruses reactivated in more than half of the astronauts. The study published last week in the journal Frontiers in Microbiology. To date, 47 out of 89, which is 53%, of astronauts on short space shuttle flights and 14 out of 23, which is 61%, on longer ISS missions shed herpes viruses in their saliva or urine samples, said lead study author... I'm not going to try to say his name. These frequencies, as well as the quantity of viral shedding are markedly higher than in samples from before or after the flight or from matched healthy controls. Shedding is when the virus successfully reactivates, it says. But yeah, it does say here that, luckily it doesn't mean that the symptoms return. It says only 6 astronauts developed any symptoms due to the reactivation and all were minor. But man, that would still suck. Also,
Isn't it just
it's good to know though, because you picture they go up in space, they do whatever, they come back here, maybe
Oh, yeah.
you want to celebrate a little bit,
yeah,
and next thing you know, you're giving people herpes,
yeah.
or chickenpox, whatever.
And it doesn't it just kind of say like, yeah, we were meant to stay here,
Yeah,
on the freaking planet,
right.
But again, like I said, all the time, all sorts of new things come out of space flight. So they're working on ways to the way that they're doing their advanced testing is because of this.
Yeah.
That'll apply to us on Earth. If they start working on so far there's been no movement on any sort of herpes vaccine. The only thing you've got is chickenpox.
Yeah.
But maybe someday they will, because everybody's going to be up there with fucking giant cold sores on their lips.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. Like, that is one of those things that the bar has not moved on, really. I mean, there's been Valtrex jokes since like I was a little kid. And
yeah.
I don't know that there's anything better now than there was then,
Yeah. That's just wild.
Yeah.
So it's all those things that hide in your body, like in your nervous system and stuff like that.
Well, what the first thing I thought of, honestly, well, aside from laughing at a little bit at this, but I actually was curious, and I'm sure they will, is look to see if there's any correlation to like cancer, because cancer can dormant and then so
that's what they were talking about, is the cells that basically kill cancer.
Yeah,
they're seeing a reduction in those.
Oof. Yeah.
And then you add to that the fact that you're exposed to a lot of radiation, but they're not seeing any increase in cancer from space travel.
Well, maybe the radiation shuts it down. I don't know. Yeah. So, maybe don't go into space.
Yeah.
Especially if you have these things. So,
yeah. And it's like 90% of the people, 90% of the world has got simplex 1, right? Cold sores.
Yeah. Yep. And
we all got it from our aunt.
Yeah. You're probably right. Yeah.
And that big hairy sore on her lip.
Yep.
Oh, let me kiss you, Norman.
Oh man.
Like, no.
Yeah. Come on, Marvin wants to kiss you. Marvin's the hairy thing on her lip. Yeah.
He's got a hairy lip. You shaved down and taught her to speak English, didn't you, Gus?
Yeah.
The fuck's this goony Google shit?
Oh man.
Your wife's a Bigfoot, isn't she, Gus?
Yes. All right, so, where is it? I have to send you the link to this one, because in order to appreciate it fully, you have to look at what it is, unless you've already seen this thing. So the next thing I have is, sometimes I do a sarcastic, shut up and take my money. And this would be one of those items. And...
Oh, hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Yeah, we got to do this right.
All right. Sorry.
My whole list is all messed up. Oh, there it is.
Shut up and take my money.
There we go.
All right.
So, I watched TV the other night, or not TV. I'm sorry. I was on the internets. I believe it was on Instagram. And as I'm, scrolling. Every fourth picture is an ad on Instagram, because that's how they do it, and that's fine, whatever. One of them was an ad for something called a peanut butter pump. And I'm like, what? And peanut butter without the knife it shows, and I kid you not, and everyone needs to go watch this stupid video for this thing. Because, like, love peanut butter, but hate it when your bread rips under your knife? Buy better bread. Tired of getting out the knife and scraping the jar? Because that's so difficult. Use a spatula thing. It's what those are made for. Does peanut butter time always mean a mess, especially with kids? Kids are savages. They're going to be a mess either way.
It's true.
Need exact measurements for consistent baking and recipes? I've used peanut butter I don't know how many times baking. I've never gone, I need a pump for this. Not once. Anywho, so this is literally a pump that goes on. It looks like it goes, it goes into the lid.
It screws right on, yeah.
Yeah, into the lid of the peanut butter jar. And it, via pressure and whatever, pumps out peanut butter. There's one thing on here that I saw that I was like, it'd be kind of useful, but even then still not worth buying for, which is, peanut butter on celery.
Yes.
I could get it.
With the narrow nozzle. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. That I understand, but even still, I don't know, man. I've been doing that since I was a little kid with a knife. Also, I'm not a fan of unitaskers, but, so the advantages to this, say stream style nozzle for snacks and smoothies. Again, I can just use a spoonful of peanut butter in my smoothie, and whatever doesn't make it into the smoothie, I get to put in my mouth on the spoon. So, win-win. Wide surfaces for easy pump action. That's good for kids. I mean, I'll give them that one. Cause if it was a little tiny thing, kids might have a little more issue. With a bigger one, they can get their whole hand on it to push. I don't know, whatever. Twist and lock collar for storage. Well, that's good. Cause that means that, when it's sitting in the cupboard, it's not going to be, pumping peanut butter all over. Standard lid with hole for pump. Oh, okay. So their lid fits peanut butter jars.
Yes.
That's what's okay.
Yes, exactly.
Ribbon nozzle for sandwiches. Cause it's so hard to get peanut butter out for sandwiches. Yeah. I understand the whole ripping bread thing does suck, but it's funny cause when you don't buy shitty bread, you don't seem to run into this problem as much, but whatever.
Could you imagine cleaning this thing?
Oh God, no.
Cleaning it's just gotta be as nasty as cleaning it's got to be messier than just using a goddamn knife and a jar of peanut butter.
Right? That you could just wipe off.
Wipe off, yes.
Yeah.
Now you've got a tube and O-rings and valves full of peanut butter.
Yeah. So there's interesting things to this. Like the fact that you can use it on crunchy peanut butter, that's kind of interesting.
Surprises me. Yeah.
It says many features specifically designed for easy cleaning, Heno, which means to me it probably comes apart, which is bad news.
That's all that it means. It literally just removable.
And I don't want something like this to come apart because the more you take it apart, the less the seal's not going to work as well.
It's still tubes.
Yeah. Also that.
Full of peanut butter.
I mean, don't get me wrong, normally delicious, but and then the other points, this mechanism scrapes side of the jar as you use it to get the most peanut butter you can.
All right.
Okay, I'll give you that. Well, although, like I said, when I grew up, you know what I'm talking about? Like those spatulas that are for like, they're completely flat and they're like rubber ones. That's what they're for, is scraping stuff like that out. My mom always had a set of those, and whenever we got to that end of the peanut butter, like she had one that was a real long one that had a real small thing on it that was not that much bigger than a butter knife, Yeah. So it was like, use that one, and that's it. Problem solved.
I would love this for my honey.
That is a different story. I would totally love it for that, for like
to pump honey.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Because every time I use honey, I do make a mess. So if there was a way to just pump the honey instead, I'd be all for it. There probably is. We're just idiots, but
I mean, they make squeeze bottles, but it's not good honey.
That's not the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like if you scroll down in this thing, I think it shows I can't tell if that's an apple or if that's bread. It's a cracker, and they crack the thing in half when they're trying to put peanut butter on it. Whatever. Stop it.
I love the guy just pumping into a bowl.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what the hell he's doing with that, but it looks gross.
I just can't believe how much money they've already made on this.
I know, right?
Like they're 566% of their goal.
Yeah. I can never understand. Oh crap, my browser just quit.
11 days left.
I can never understand these things. It's like when, have you seen those things in the store that are like, it's an avocado slicer and scoop, basically?
Yes.
Or like a banana slicer, and it's like, oh, come on, you can't slice your own banana? Like, I was doing that when I was a little kid. Come on. My parents trusted me with a knife. Like, geez, because, it wasn't like a chef knife or something. But, I don't know, man. This stuff bugs me because it's sold under it's so easy, it makes life blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it really doesn't. And the fact that, like you said, it's like, I bet it takes longer to clean this than it does to clean a knife. Or a spatula. Or whatever. Like I said, I can understand maybe there's some uses to it, but to me, there's not enough uses that, especially for, God, I forgot what it is. What is it that they're looking for per? Isn't it like $20 or something?
It depends on what you get. The early stuff was like that. Now it's a little bit higher. But I kind of like the one with the little dog Kongs. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, you know what? I was gonna say I did see that. I forgot to. I'm glad you brought that up. That is something I could totally see buying it for.
Yeah, like the small nozzle and just shoving it into that Kong.
Because that would be so much easier for those. I can understand that. But even still, they have raised. Was it $113,279 so far? 3,098 people have backed this. And part of me wants to just contact the person who created this and be like, really? Like, come on the show. I want to talk to you for a minute. Really? Yeah, $25 plus shipping is the low end one now, huh? Man. Yeah. Like you said, the Kong one for $35 where you get a couple of the toys and the nozzle thing. Okay, that one I can see a little bit, but whatever. No. I better not find out anyone I know bought one of these. If I walk in your kitchen and I see one, it's going on the ground and I'm crushing it.
I'm shoving a spatula and a knife up your ass.
That too.
I'm amazed at how some of these campaigns on Indiegogo have like generated millions of dollars.
Right? Yeah.
For like some of the stupidest shit.
Yeah. It's why I get a email from a website called Yumly, and they usually send a thing like, here's the most popular recipes this week. But sometimes they send one out that's like, oh, kitchen gadgets you have to have. Almost every time I'm enraged by the time I'm done reading because so many of them are just like, really, kind of things. It's, it's similar to like when I'm in the grocery store and I see somebody buying carrot sticks or celery sticks. Carrot sticks especially, because they do make baby carrots. Just buy baby carrots. But
yeah, exactly.
Or sliced apples. It's like, come on, how long does it take to quarter an apple? I mean, geez. I've got a thing that you push on top of it and you push straight down. It cores it and cuts it into 8 slices. Just buy one of those. It's like $10. Like, come on, damn it. Yes, it's a unitasker. I understand, but whatever. But before that, I was using a chef knife and a melon baller. Because I just cut it into pieces and use a real small melon baller to take the very middle out. And that was basically, then I eat the rest of the apple. So yeah, I'm not against something making things easier, but I am against something to where, like, when you really stop and look at this, it's like, are those things really that difficult and painful or troublesome? I don't really think they are. Most of the time I make a peanut butter sandwich, or jelly sandwich, I I don't get it all over the place. I just make my sandwich, you know? I mean, and if spreading peanut butter is that big of a deal, put a little in a dish, warm it for like 2 seconds in the microwave because it thins it down.
You know those U-locks? You know, they're kind of like the, you know, for like bicycles?
Yeah.
Where it's like a U shape and a straight.
Mm-hmm.
There's one on here called Skunk Lock, the lock that fights back.
Oh my God.
It sprays chemicals. The chemicals are so disgusting they induce vomit in the majority of cases and elicit an instinctive response to run away immediately.
I think you had one of those go off behind you a little bit ago.
I think I did. So if you try to take like something serious to it, it's pressurized on the inside and it releases a chemical deterrent.
Wow.
If you put a grinder to it, it just.
Okay. Wow. All right then. Jeez. That's aggressive.
It really is,
Man.
especially the video. Poor guy's got a grinder and he gets fucking gassed.
Well, that'll teach him to try to steal.
They got $88,000 for these things. Huh. Interesting.
See? That's the kind. Man, I can't get over this stuff.
It cost you $120.
What? Wow. And I assume you're going to have to replace the chemical occasionally. You know?
Yeah, that's a question. Is like, do you get like inserts or what do you get for it?
Yeah, right?
That is hilarious.
Jeez.
All right.
Yeah. It's funny.
The distinctive color scheme warns a would-be thief of impending trouble.
Wow.
Yeah, the giant skunk lock.
Yeah, right.
Really, it's kind of like if I'm spending the money, I want to nail somebody.
Yeah.
I want to change it to like bunny lock. So people think like a little bunny comes out. And then.
Yes.
The thief comes over. Oh, wow. That looks like. Oh, nope. It's not a skunk lock. It's a bunny lock.
Yeah. Aw. And then it sprays them. Yeah.
Bunnies.
Yeah. And then it sprays them.
And.
Then it maces
Oh, God.
them. Yeah. So there you go. For anyone listening, if you're going to try to steal a bike from anybody, make sure you're wearing a mask of some sort so that it, you know, it doesn't affect you.
This is great. Can't a thief just wear a mask of protection? Well, technically, yes. Will it help them steal your bike? Probably not.
It's not. It will, because if I approach this bike with one of these locks and that thing sprays me, odds are I'm going to quit trying to steal the bike and run away. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
If I wear a mask and that thing sprays me and I'm not affected by it, that does help me steal the bike because I'm going to go, okay, and steal the bike. You know?
The formula we've developed is detectable even through the most robust gas masks because we learned it the hard way.
Oh, man. Wow. All right. Well, yeah. Well, apparently they know what they're doing here, I guess.
They're trying to say that it irreversibly ruins all the clothes worn by the thief and just makes a scene so that people are, looking
right
now. Wow.
See, when I go out stealing bikes, I just wear shitty clothes anyway, though, because I just throw them away usually because I don't want to get recognized. Duh.
Man, that's funny.
Wow. Yeah. It's like going into, whenever I go into like Bed Bath & Beyond and I walk around the kitchen section, and I just see all these things that are just like that. Like I said, just that one-off type of tool. And it's, it's like, really? What do you need that for? Like, come on. I don't know. Because some of it I get, if it's something that improves safety, that's another story, Because there's a lot of people that I've seen handle knives that make me very, very anxious while they're doing so. Because they're just willy-nilly wielding those things around. And it's like, maybe you should put that down.
You should. I sent you the link to the page.
Yeah.
They have the team at the bottom, And the second guy is the Swiss-born engineer and passionate cyclist. His responsibilities include designing, engineering, and testing the skunk lock. And he looks like just the guy to test it.
They're like, no, stand back a little bit, or you're going to get sprayed. And he's all up in it, like. Like
and what's funny is the guy that's responsible for media and strategy. His picture looks like he's responsible for media. Wow, that's hilarious.
Wow. Oh, geez. All right, so I got one more thing here, unless you have anything else.
No, go
okay.
for it.
This last thing is, it's actually, we asked this last week.
Yes.
It was the chip question.
The chips thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. I got my soundboard ready. All right.
Okay. Cause I saw it on Twitter where someone asked, a comedian had asked, friends of his or whatever, of the like multi-pack of, Lay's chips, which includes, classic Lay's chips, Fritos, Cheetos, Cool Ranch Doritos, nacho cheese Doritos, and barbecue Lay's.
Barbecue, yep.
And, I was curious to see what, people thought. So do you want to give your answer, or do you want me to read it here?
You can go ahead and read it.
Okay. On Facebook, Heno said Lay's, because of 3 simple ingredients I don't need a science degree to understand. That's something I hadn't considered. That's a really good point. I still don't like them, but that's a good point.
Yeah, this all came from my buddy Eddie, who literally showed me, we were at a store one day, and he showed me a package of Lay's, and he showed me a package of Doritos.
It does say like potatoes, salt.
I'm just like, oh wow, and it changed everything for me.
Yeah, it's what, potatoes, oil, salt, I think, or what it is.
Yeah, it's potatoes, vegetable oil, and salt.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which is exactly what potato chips should be.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Number 2, you put Fritos. Again, 3 ingredients. It's a good point. 3 Cheetos. Be discreet when crossing the street. 4
Chester, come on.
Yeah, I know. Ain't easy being cheesy.
No, it ain't.
4 Nacho Doritos. 5 Cool Ranch Doritos. And barbecue at number 6 because it's as disgusting as fake banana flavor.
Seriously, Sharon loves barbecue chips. They just make me want to gag.
Yeah, I tend to like barbecue chips too.
Like, why? I don't get it.
There is a difference in them though. Like there's some that are better than others. I'm not a huge fan of Lay's ones, but I've had some that I really liked. So yeah. Really, if you wanted to, that's the problem is like when you look at recipes for like barbecue flavoring for chips, it doesn't seem like anything that's, barbecue related basically. It's not like you run them through barbecue sauce or something and then,
exactly.
Fry them. Yeah.
So you want to know the funny thing about this is that I'm driving home listening to the podcast and I went to the grocery store and I bought 2 bags of Lay's.
Oh no, I encourage you to buy the chips I hate the most.
Like I was just like, oh my God, I need some Lay's right now. I didn't even make it home. I just got in the car, cracked that bag open. I was like, nom all the way. Like talk about advertising working.
Oh man, we should get paid for that. Damn it.
No kidding.
Yeah. Philip says Cheetos, then barbecue Lay's, original Lay's, then Fritos, then Nacho Doritos, then Cool Ranch Doritos. I was curious where Cool Ranch Doritos would be, because that seems like one of those chips that people either seem to really love or really hate. And it's funny, because I hate ranch dressing and various things that taste like ranch dressing, but I will smash bags of Cool Ranch Doritos.
I like the Cool Ranch Doritos.
I've always loved them. They're my favorite ones. Well, maybe not my favorite. There's been a couple others they've made. Like I like the sweet chili or something that they have now.
That's not bad.
I've been eating those not that I eat them a lot, but when I do, I've been grabbing those instead.
But I think the one thing about like Lay's, if I'm craving Lay's, I'm getting the Lay's. Fritos for me are a pairing thing.
That's fair.
Like, and kind of way Lay's is like this too, but Fritos is like, just like a regular old hot dog with some mustard. Yeah, Fritos. It's like the right thing,
Yeah.
And then Cheetos, you just, every once in a while, you just need that cheesy crunch.
Listen, I stopped at, I was hungry after the doctor office yesterday, and where we stopped, I'm sitting there and I'm like, there's a Subway right here. I'm like, well, because Jim was going in somewhere else. I'm like, while you go in there, I'm going to run and grab a sandwich. And while I was in there, I just kept looking at the Cheetos. And I'm like, I might as well grab them. Because, like, I just keep looking at them. So, a small bag, But, man, they tasted so good. But by the time I got to the end, I was like, now I remember why I don't buy these a lot. Because they're so salty. But I didn't really get that until the very end. So it was okay, Like, unlike some other chips, like, there's some that I'll put the first bite and I'm like, oh my God, these are salty. And then I have issues eating them from there. So, some I don't, but, some I do. Like, was it like Ruffles? I think it is. Like, every time I go to eat Ruffles, they're just, all I get is salt. So.
Yeah, Ruffles are pretty salty. The what are those? The sour cream and cheddar Ruffles, though? Oh, God, I love those.
Yeah, I've eaten
I love those too much.
Me too.
Like, I have made myself sick eating those.
Yep.
You know what I started doing? Is I started cutting it with a loaf of French bread.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know where I got it from. It was something like I'd get off of work and I wanted to go to the gym, but I knew I was going to have an empty stomach. So I got a bag of those sour cream and cheddar Ruffles, and I grabbed like a baguette. And I would eat really the baguette and kind of salt it with the Ruffles.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
It wasn't bad.
That makes sense. Yeah, I can't remember if it was Subway or someplace I used to eat used to have those. And I would get them every time in it because I got to where I was like, I'm not buying these for home, like a big bag of them. Because like you just said, I'll just sit and eat the whole bag. And so I was like, whenever I'm getting whatever it was, like I'll get a small bag of those and that's it. That way I'm not, eating, 2 pounds of, not 2 pounds, but whatever. Yeah. So, that's what we got over on Facebooks. So let me close that out and pull up the Twitter because I know we got at least one on Twitter.
Excellent.
If the page loads. I'm having some issues right now. My computer's not playing nice. It's probably because I have like 400 tabs open, I know.
I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right? Dang it. I also can't remember who tweeted it. Oh, geez, I'm way too far back now. I was just looking at Pam Olson's comment to us. By the way, if you're listening, whoever started that account, Tony and I absolutely love it. So, well played. Because I know that's somebody that listens to the show that started it, but I don't know exactly who it is, but it's good. So, our pal Garrett said Doritos cheese, Cheetos, barbecue Lay's, plain Lay's, Cool Ranch, Liquid Animal, then Fritos. Liquid Animal is an old story that he told us when we had our shop that I can't even remember the story now. All you need to know is it ended with him finding basically a bucket or something that had Liquid Animal in it. Like an animal that had liquefied. It was very disgusting from what he said. He says, anyone caught serving Fritos, the Hague wants to see you.
Hague wants to see you.
So apparently he's got strong feelings about Fritos.
There's some issues about this, yeah.
And he wasn't the only one. When I was reading that original thread, there's a lot of people that were like, how can you put Fritos anywhere but last type of thing? And I was like, really? I like Fritos.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the ones I buy most of the time aren't Fritos. Because again, the salty thing. I tend to buy the chili cheese Fritos. Because I absolutely love those things. And they're terrible. Because I'll eat the whole bag. So again, I try not to, I've learned that I just can't have those things around.
It's literally cornmeal, corn oil, and salt.
Yeah.
Like it's about as simple ingredients as you can get.
Yeah. I'll tell you where I love Fritos the most is in the, what are they called? Well, it's a Fritos pie, a walking pie, whatever they're called.
Oh, yeah.
Where you for those who don't know, it's like you take one of the small bags of well, really, you could do it with any size, I guess, but generally done with a small bag. You tear it open a little bit, and then on the Fritos, you put like chili and cheese, and depending on where you get it, they put other stuff, but it's usually like chili and cheese, and then you just eat it with like a spork or something. And they're fantastic. Or I know people who just put chili over it. Like when they make chili at home, they just put it over Fritos basically and or they'll eat Fritos with it, kind of like Scoop, like the Scoops Fritos, the bigger ones. They'll just use those and scoop chili in it. So
I like those curly Q ones.
Yeah, there was one of those
corkscrew ones.
Yeah, I think they had a honey barbecue one that I used to eat a lot.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Mm-hmm. So, yep. And then, let's see here, Cheeto Bandito sent his answer in, and he says, oh, that's funny. He says, 1, Cool Ranch, 2, Nacho Cheese, Doritos, 3, Barbecue Lays, 4 is Cheetos, and 5, Fritos and Lays are tied for whatever the fuck I grab place. And he's right. I get to that point, but it's not with Fritos. Mine would be like the barbecue, probably. It used to be nacho cheese Doritos because I never was a huge fan of those. But as I've gotten older, I kind of like them a little more. So it would be the barbecue and regular Lays, just whatever I grab, you know. And it's a slight edge to the barbecue ones. But and he says, now, if those are honey barbecue twist Fritos, then then they move to first place. If they are chili cheese Fritos, they move to second. If the Cheetos are flamin' hot, which Tony and I brought up, or even the jalapeno, they move to first. Cause if there were flamin' hot ones, we would have put them in first too. And if the Cheetos are Cheeto Banditos, they're just gonna get stale and pitched in the garbage.
That's funny.
Well played, sir. Well played. I love it.
Is that all of them?
Yes.
I like what you got. Good job.
Oh, man. Good fun.
That was good.
Yeah. I like stuff like that because it is interesting how so many people put those chips in different spots, you know? Because like when I was growing up, my parents occasionally would get like whether it was the box of them or then they switched to like a bag. And there's always those ones, like every time you get them, there's always this chip or whatever that there's a bunch left or, you know, like I would basically grab all the Cool Ranch Doritos as soon as the bag was opened and
yeah.
So it's interesting to see that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's neat. I think, you know, the reality is of all those, I would grab any bag and eat them. And the only one that I might slow down on is the barbecue.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where I'd be like, yeah, I've had enough. 4.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like mine would be the regular Lays, but you're right. I would eat pretty much anything I grabbed out of those. So certainly there's ones that when you reach in and you pull out like Fritos or whatever it is you're hankering for at the time, you're like, yeah, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So I remember at one point that's what my parents made me do. Because otherwise I would literally eat all the ones I wanted and just leave the others. So they're basically like, if I had to reach in blind basically and whatever I got is what I got. So, you know, but again, it's like, I'll eat them.
Now you gotta do the variety pack of the cereal boxes.
Oh man, I forgot about those. Yeah, I should.
Remember those?
Yeah. Actually, I'll write that down. Maybe we'll do that. Cause I need to get a list of what they are, because I don't think it's the same as when I was a kid. So
I don't think so either. Yeah, which would be kind of cool to see what they were in the 70s and see how the 80s and 90s and see how they've changed.
I was just thinking that too. Actually, that'd be interesting to see where we're at with those.
Yeah,
because like I said, I know they change. Because I don't. Well, yeah. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. So all right, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, let's wrap this sumbitch up then. Head over to saltylanguage.com and click all the things, and you can check out check out the networks we're part of, like the Tangent Bound Network, which can be found at tangentboundnetwork.com. Well, again, the link's on saltylanguage.com. And
danger! Watch your back! Danger!
Entertainment, which can be found at dangerentertainment.net. Or again, if you go to saltylanguage.com, it's, links right there. Please rate, review, and subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate it. Make sure you leave us those 5-star ball washes. If you didn't send in your list of the chips and you still want to, feel free. You can email us at saltylanguage@gmail.com. You can reach us on Twitter at salty_language. Wow, I shit the bed right there. You can find me at Stunami. I don't remember you can find Tony at. I think it's The Monotony. Or no, it's Monotony on Twitter. It's The Monotony on Instagram. You can find us on Instagram at, what is it, Salty Language Pod, I think? No, it's just Salty Language on Instagram. I hate that. I still hate it so much that I can't have the same name across all the socials.
So lame.
Yeah.
So fucking lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, all the links are over on saltylanguage.com. How about you, Henno?
You can find me on Twitter at IdaHenno, and you can find me, I don't even know what the fuck I am on Instagram.
That's fair. Oh, man.
I think you know what I am? I'm at Just Slimo.
That seems right.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's at Just Slimo.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, you can be found on the Gotham Lights podcast.
Yeah, that's right. I do this podcast called The Crazy Life. No.
Well, you do. I mean, Yeah.
I do.
There is a link to that on the site. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're down to like 1 month left.
Oh, wow.
Of Gotham and Orville. Like, this is it. This is it. It is. I mean, yes, the Orville will go on. Yeah. However, Gotham is finally fucking over. So if you want to hear the last 4 episodes ever, whatever it is, of Gotham Lights, check us out.
Right.
On your podcast listening app of awesomeness.
And then exciting things after that. So
yes, we are planning.
Yes.
So excited.
I am too, actually, because I missed that other format.
It's going to be great.
Yep. I agree. As Henno said, you can also find both of us over on The Crazy Life also, along with our friend Jen. And that comes out once a week. The link to that's up on saltylanguage.com also. So yeah, like I said, just head over there for any links that you need, because they're all sitting there just waiting for you to just tenderly click them. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention. We've talked about doing the 400th episode live, which we're still planning on doing. We're planning on doing it via YouTube. Oh, but Tony doesn't have a schedule yet, so I still can't tell you when to, which could not be more Salty Language. This absolutely could not be more us. Most podcasts would be like 3 weeks ago. They would have had it nailed down. We're doing it this day at this time. But us will pretty much tell you about an hour after it's over. So, but yeah, we're planning on doing it that way. As soon as I know, I will, I'm going to do a little recording thing and put it into the feed. So, you should get a like 2-minute download from the show that is announcing the date and time of that. Also, we'll have it on Twitter, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. As we get closer to next weekend, I'm guessing. I don't know. We'll see. So hopefully, people can turn up and watch us be stupid. If you have anything you'd like us to talk about or questions for us, please send them in to saltylanguage@gmail.com or DM them to us on Twitter at salty_language. So, and we don't care how stupid they are. We'll answer just about anything. So, especially if we don't know anything about it.
Exactly. You're guaranteed your best answer then.
Probably, yeah, because we'll just be like, and make shit up. So, hey everybody, before we jump into the end credit stuffs on this episode, I wanted to jump in and let you know that the episode 400 live show that we're going to do, it's going to be on YouTube. So, you can find us on YouTube at, I believe it's Salty Language Pod, if I'm not mistaken. So, the link's on the website if you need it. Anyway, we're looking at about 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and that's on Saturday. Boy, I should have looked this up before I just sat down to record here. So that's going to be on Saturday, March 30th, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the YouTubes. We'll have a link and everything. We'll probably post this again on the timeline a few times. So hopefully people can join us, like we said, send us questions and everything. So hopefully we'll see you there. Back to the show. I guess until next time, have a beer, you'll be fine. Tony! Oh, man. I know, you gotta
stay salty.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I don't know.
Go piss testosterone. Go bleed testosterone.
Yeah, bleed testosterone. Yeah.